Well, welcome Hospitality Live. Look who I've got next to me today, Mr. Liam Manton, the managing director of Didsbury Gin. How the devil are you, sir?
How are you doing, pal? You all right?
Yeah, fine, mate. You? Yeah, very good to see you. Yeah, very, very good to see you. Yeah. So, basically, let me talk you through the show. Tuesday, the 24th of November, 12 noon, Hospitality Recovery Live. And let me, first of all, say a big thank you. Thank you for all the comments that people have basically sent me and, the hundreds of emails that quite clearly have come through. Show's actually gone viral, so, it's looking very, very good. Just in case people don't know who I am, and just give some details. There's my LinkedIn details. And basically, there is my new contact details. We've basically come up with a new show, hospitalityrecovery.co.uk. So in the background there is people that quite clearly can contact me. The website isn't up yet. And where's the show going to go out to? It's going to go out to YouTube. So basically on the YouTube channel and also basically on LinkedIn Live. Welcome to the people from Facebook and welcome to the people from YouTube. Also on the podcast is basically Last Man Standing, and that basically goes out to Apple, Google, Spotify, Anchor, and all the mainstream. So I know people watch this basically just going back to the antics. You watch this on a replay. So if you are watching this on replay, basically please put R or replay in the comments and we'll know from the statistics where we go. As you know, guys, in this show we absolutely crave attention. So quite clear, to come in, say hello, basically make sure that you're quite clear you've got your location on there. And, lots of questions for this guy next to me, Mr. Liam Manton. Basically come in. If you do, guys, put the Q before it, and then I'll be able to get from the feed exactly where it's coming from. Just a quick one, really. It's not particularly a sweary show, to be quite honest. Yeah, but obviously we are live. I haven't got the bleeper machine. He's promised not to swear, a bit like JBS last week. So quite clearly, if you are going to listen, put your earbuds in, move away. I know people listen to it, and sort of, speakers and God knows what after the show, but quite clearly, if you are, move that laptop to another thing. So, what's the hospitality industry got with us this week? Obviously we had the PM's announcement yesterday, and I'll just basically come off another briefing. So quite clearly, a bit of sort of mixed feelings in there. Christmas, it looks like we're going to be spending together with Christmas, doesn't it? Yeah, so all the family and sort of get together. How do you feel about that? And obviously we're going to go into different tiers, different areas of lockdown. But what will come out based on the 3rd December. The update yesterday, basically, for the pubs is quite good, really. A little bit of glimmer there, basically from 10 p.m. And 11 p.m. will be home time, will be closures, but some will still be basically still in, sort of takeaway and, close down together. The events industry, no date for the events industry is absolutely shocking. Come on, PM, give us a date to work to. And obviously, if your weddings, your big sort of occasions, still not there. Nightlife. Some of those guys haven't had any sort of revenue since the 23rd of March. So some of those businesses absolutely died. Pub industry itself. I sent out a message. I know Liam. You sent out some stuff yesterday. Will that actual sector survive? Especially people in tier 3. Takeaway meals, beers, and all that sort of stuff. So. If you have a view on those guys, basically pop them in the comments. As I say, we have lots of sort of feed that comes back. Some good sort of things. Really, some sort of just gives a glimmer of hope. There is a vaccine on its way. Whenever that comes in, whether it's summer, whether it's I talked to people this morning. Will that come in for sort of Easter? Will that sort of come for the summer by the time we roll it out? So a better thing in there. And as I was saying, the 10 p.m. basically goes back to 11 p.m., which is closed doors, and it stops people falling out to the street. So a little bit of a little bit of glimmer yesterday, but quite clearly still lots to do. So let's cheer ourselves up. Let's talk about gin. Let's talk about Didsbury Gin. Yeah, so I've got the guy next to me. How big is it? So I was doing some research into gin, and obviously we do a lot with ginology and drinks, and sort of online sort of virtual tastings, and stuff like that. So gin market in the UK, just for people who don't know, is basically 2.7 billion. Let me repeat that for you: 2.7 billion pounds worth of market we spend on just gin alone. That is 88 million bottles of gin. Yeah, so an absolute massive market. National market for drinks, just to basically sort of give you some background to this before we bring them on, is basically £46 billion economy for the drinks market. As I said, £2.22 billion is the pub market, so a massive market. I know basically people like Sasha basically was talking about, pubs in basically sector 3 would probably won't even make it to the spring, let's face it. So lots of those pubs are going to close down, and we'll see what that comes out of it. Biggest sort of producers of gin and drinks is basically Spain. That surprised me really. So they drink basically a litre of gin all the way through per person. That is quite a big amount of money, isn't it? Spend just over 400 quid a person on gin. UK's number 4th, all the way through. Anyway, enough of me sort of whittling on. Okay. Let's basically bring in my co-host, Mr. Liam Manton. Let's find out what he's going to say about the industry recovery, and let's find out what he says about gin. Let me read you through. Hang on, Paul, let me just read through. Cool.
So, I think the announcement yesterday, you say there's a bit of glimmer of hope there, but to me, it felt like another nail in the government's coffin for hospitality, to be honest. There was a lot of these businesses have been vilified. Hospitality has been vilified during COVID, when statistically it's actually proven to be one of the safest places in terms of, recorded transmissions. So hope a little bit, but, I think hospitality's had a bad beating with this government.
Okay. Before we find out, let's just have a quick look through, just see who's listening, Liam. So let's just have a look at these. Let's have a look. That's the test one. Hi, Nigel. Managed to jump in briefly. Currently in Arlo. So there's Mark Daniels. Mark's just basically put his podcast in. Let's have a quick look. Rebecca Crowley. Okay. Used to be with us at Nesbitt. So obviously just got a new job, Rebecca. Roger Broxbank is back. Hiya, Roger. How you doing? Hi, Nigel and Liam from Cheltenham. From Alina. Hi, Alina. How are you? As you can see, we're all over the place. Thomas Bases from Essex. Good afternoon from Peterborough. Guy, how you doing? So all the people now have flown into the show. Kevin Blair from afternoon from Oxford. Hi, Kevin. Who else have we got? LinkedIn user, you need to go to the top, and basically click on there and basically put your feed on. It looks like you're a Facebook user, so if you're on Facebook, that's what you need to do. Who we got through? We got going through here, etc. Hang on, Gary's got a question which we'll come back to. So, Liam Manton, who the hell is Liam Manton? We know you from the industry, and I know you, pal. So we sort of talk. We know you lots. We've seen you on Dragon's Den, for your investment there with Jenny. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But first of all, who is Liam Manton? Talk us through.
Well, so I'm one of the co-founders, managing directors of Didsbury Gin, rapid growing gin brand in the UK. We launched the business in January 2018. Currently stocks in a lot of national accounts in the UK. Got investment, as Nigel's just said, on the BBC TV show Dragon's Den. And we've not looked back since.
Okay, so obviously Dragon's Den. Let's get this one out of the way, because obviously that's where we know you from. Two bumbling guys, sort of quivering in front of 5 dragons, and Tuka and Peter, and I think Tej was on there, wasn't he? And sort of Deborah Meaden. Tej's on my feed, so I might get him on actually and see what he thinks. But didn't he offer you a? Didn't he offer you an investment, Tej? And at one stage, what was that?
Yeah, we had 2 offers by the end of the show, but we just felt, with Jenny being Northern. And she seemed to understand where we wanted to take the brand a bit more than Tage did. So, we turned him down.
Okay, so those people that don't know Jenny, I've sort of got to... that's Jenny, by the way. Jenny Campbell. Okay.
She's still not paid us for that bottle, actually.
Is she not paid you for that bottle? Shocking, mate. You know what I mean? Get the board meeting going, you know what I mean? So that's what you should actually do there, Anyway, mate, so just talk to me then quickly about sort of Dragon's Den, because we said 10 minutes of it, don't we? We see the good bits, the ugly bits, the sort of and then go and talk to the wall, and obviously watch that show, and basically we say to each other, would you make that investment? Would you basically take it? What would you do? So just tell me, how long is the show? How long is the sort of just talk me through that.
I mean, well, as a day, it's a grueling day, because you have to get there at 6 a.m. And then you're in what they call the entrepreneur's green room. We called it a holding pen. It's a little windowless room. With sort of 10 other businesses in there who are going on to pitch. They film 10 pitches a day, and then you can make the episodes up as they go along. But what you see on TV, we were probably in there just shy of 3 hours. So that's from the moment you do your pitch, which is a brief, couple of minutes. Then afterwards, we were basically being grilled for 3 hours, and then they condensed that down. Obviously, some people are in there, a lot shorter than that. But the rule of thumb is the longer you're in there, the better it is, because it shows you're getting engaging questions.
Yeah. And obviously, Jenny gave you the investment. I mean, what was it? Sort of £75,000, wasn't it? Sort of,
yeah.
Investment you got. Yeah. Okay. So doesn't sound like a lot, really, does it, to open up a business? Sort of,
No, and obviously, we've financed a few times along the journey, but that was just kind of some startup cash to get us to the next stage and keep the lights on. Because me and my business partner Mark, we were both made redundant the week before we filmed the show, so it was kind of sink or swim time.
Okay, because obviously Mark Smallwood, who knows your business partner, obviously Jenny Campbell, who we know from Dragon's Den, and obviously you didn't come from a hospitality industry, though, did you? You come from the
construction. Well, I spent a lot of time on the other side of a bar, so
yeah, drinking gin, no doubt. You know what I mean? So okay, yeah. Well, and Liam, I want to ask you, because basically, obviously, the PM announced yesterday about the sort of lockdown and the sort of the pub sector, yeah, and retail is where you come from, yeah. So that's basically drinks, and that's where I certainly come from a food and beverage background. Yeah. What's your sort of thought process of the sort of industry, the pub industry?
I think it's been a national disgrace how the hospitality sector and the event sector has been treated throughout COVID. It's an absolute disgrace. They've made sweeping kind of statements, sweeping rules, not backed up by science, not backed up by evidence. And here we are, a lot of these businesses have spent millions of pounds complying with government guidelines, guidelines which have been set by government, to then have the rug pulled from under the feet with this announcement, which, but did we expect anything more from what we've got in government? I don't know.
Okay, so I totally agree. I think basically from tier 2 to tier 3, and obviously we'll find out on Thursday, just for the podcast, we'll find out Thursday exactly what tier we actually come into. So, if you're a publican at the moment, you've got to feel for your business, haven't you? You've got to feel for your cash flow. You're sort of, great having a 5% sort of VAT, sort of depreciation in your VAT.
Yeah, the VAT, it's a token gesture. People need rate relief, they need rent relief. Well, they need to trade. People need to be able to get on with the business. We're trading. I get it. We need to be safe, and safety has to come first. But these operators, a lot of them who we work with have spent millions and millions of pounds. These are one-man bands. These are pub groups on complying with safety regulations that were imposed on them.
Yeah.
And for what?
Yeah, I was pretty. Well, I guess I wasn't shocked yesterday. I mean, nobody from the industry was. We've been sort of lobbying for a 3-month plan, haven't we? To get us out and sort of give us a 3-month, give us a 6-month plan. The events industry example, give us a date to work to.
That's it. So we just seem to keep reinventing what it is we're doing. What do we have a medium to long term plan, or is it just we'll try that, or we've gone down that road now, we can't turn back to save face? I just don't understand it. The data, suggests that hospitality venues statistically are the safest venues in terms of contact tracing. So, where's the evidence to support this?
Yeah, I think basically the statistic that came out, since it was bandied around, is basically 2 to 3%, isn't it?
Mm.
So it's probably one of the safest places than going to a supermarket or taking that underground.
Well,
basically taking
the data shows that it is, and this is Public Health England data. So,
okay, I want to take you back to sort of 2017, 2018. Yeah, so you were made redundant. Yeah, you and Mark messing around with gin on the table, God knows what. When was that moment when you thought, do you know what? I want to turn it into a multi-million-pound brand. When was that moment? When was that sort of light bulb moment?
Well, to be honest, it's all grown organically over the last 2 years. I mean, when we first came, how the brand came about, we was actually in a pub drinking gin, and there's a pub in Didsbury which had 80, 90 gins, and we foolishly said one day, we'll go in and work our way through the menu. We didn't get very far, but we give it a good go. And the receipt for the session came at the end of the night, and literally it was like a scroll, and it was a throwaway comment that Mark made that was, there's got to be a cheaper way of doing this. Yeah. So I've gone to the to the bathroom, And the light bulb moment, then, while I'm at the urinals, oh, perhaps there is. And then we just decided we wanted to make something that we wanted to drink that had the characteristics of some of our favourite gins. So, we bought a bit of kit, met up with some distilleries and got a bit of advice and just made a really, really small batch, 12 bottles or something of what we thought was our perfect gin. It's still the recipe today that we use for Didsbury Gin, the original gin. And then we put a tasting event on at the bar Mark was managing for friends, family, some local bar owners. And we made some gin and tonics and we benchmarked them against two other, leading high street, well-known gin and tonic serves.
Yeah.
And, we're about 95% in terms of, people who preferred our gins. Well, I'd say we've probably got something here. So, we had a good session that night. And then I started messaging buyers on LinkedIn from Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, Fortnum and Masons, basically telling them we were coming down to meet the other people. We ended up with a meeting with Harvey Nichols, went down with this. I think we had about half a bottle of gin left that we went down with, did a tasting, told them what we wanted to do with a branding concept. And, we expected we might get a listing for the Manchester store because they've got kind of a local produce section. And the buyer was like, no, I love this product. I love the liquid. I love you guys. How much have you got? So we're like, how much do you need? Instantly you're into sales mode. And we came away with, a 6-month exclusive deal with Harvey Nichols, which is one of the UK's, most prestigious and luxury retailers.
Wow, Jesus! I mean, obviously we know you're gin.
Well, then it was the old moment of on the train back. Right, how are we going to do this? So, we got a government startup loan. Reached out to the Growth Company, which is they're basically an advisory service in Greater Manchester, which work with small businesses. They helped us with a business plan, and it ticked over as a kind of as a hobby business up until the point we were made redundant, and we ended up on Dragon's Den and we went for it.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of knew you from basically from my last position, obviously where I was Group F&B.
Yeah.
And we were looking for a gin, if you remember, basically, just before you went on Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
And basically, I said to you, Liam, can we basically put it in? I was looking for something that wasn't on the shelf, wasn't basically well known. If you walk to some of our bars, that sort of branding is there and gives you a brand new experience. So that's where we met, and sort of. I know you've had some highs and some lows in the business, sort of learnt a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go to let's just grab some questions, yeah. Let's just see who's basically, God, it's a big one, isn't it? Yeah, I think we'll have to look at the top here then. Yeah. Hello, Nigel from Damp Lady, Glasgow. We'll be interested in what the main shopping high streets are doing once we open for Christmas. Based in England, 11th September, 2 million people living in Glasgow. Shops need to record names nowadays, basically social distance as they do in hospitality. Yeah, I think. Let me just take that down. Actually, yeah. Any views, Liam? And sort of,
I just think the sector's been treated disproportionately and unfairly. We've responded proactively and we've engaged and done everything we've been asked. And here we are yet again, being beaten by a government which just seems hell bent on destroying the sector.
Yeah, I think there's lots of things on LinkedIn, isn't there? There's lots of sort of feed that quite clearly would sort of back that up. And I was in a meeting today. Let's sort of look through. Hello from Manchester, LinkedIn user. Gents, you're both on form and looking trendy. Love the conversations. Thanks, John Benson Smith. Thanks, JB's. Obviously, he was on last week, and John, thanks for your call this morning. Looking very handsome. I'll take that. You know what I mean. So thank you very much. Yeah, one of us is handsome. Yeah, is that you, Mr. Manton? Hi, Nigel from Matthew. Yeah. Basically, good afternoon, Mark. Yeah. Questions. So Liam, all the way from Newcastle. Chris Burnham. Yeah, people coming through. It's okay, I'm just looking through the score low from basically Dragon's Den. I remember the Dragon's Den pitch. All the best. Gosh,
I think it's actually. I think I'm sure it's due to air over the festive period as well. So keep an eye out on social media because I think we'll find out a date soon.
Did you? You did the pitches to riches, didn't you? Did you remember watching that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Christmas Eve, yeah, from Rag and Bone Man to bloody, multi-millionaire, So I remember that. So yeah, that was quite a good program actually. So let's just have a look at the question. Yeah, dice your fresh watermelon, stick in a vacuum bag, pour it in a slosh of Didsbury gin, vacuum pack the hell out of it, and leave it 48 hours very cold. Wow, Yeah. What does that mean,
What to get a
Jacobs?
pie?
You know,
Where's
yeah.
my watermelon?
Or the uses for basically, all the way through. So, yeah. Uh, we need certainty. I think that's quite right from Guy, isn't it? I think we all want that,
Just a
Guy.
plan, just a plan that we stick to and don't change every time someone leaks something to the Daily Mail or goes on the news. It's give us a plan and let's get out of this mess together.
Yeah, and I know you do a lot for the news and stuff like that, lots of bulletins, but I think that's what we're calling from the industry, isn't it? To recovery is basically give us a plan, give us a date, give us some
Yeah.
financials, tell us basically, I talk to a lot of people out there in the industry, and lots of people are sort of they're struggling, mate. It's the anxiety, isn't it? It's the sort of sleepless nights. It's have we got
I,
a business?
I
Have we
dread,
got a business?
I dread to think the pressure and stress that a lot of these kind of, business owners, ourselves as well, we've been faced with challenges, but some of these venue owners that, they've got the savings invested, and then it's their livelihoods at the end of the day, and it's not fair.
Yeah, it's certainly shocking at the moment. We do feel for those people in the industry. A lot of businesses have traded very well over the last 10 months, but we don't read about them. Yeah, is the UK approach is only look at the bad news. I think we talked about this last week. I mean, Liam, we were talking about this just before we came on air.
I mean, we've seen gains as well. We performed well through COVID, but we've had to make investments in e-commerce. We've had to ramp up our investments in the off trade, and we didn't stand still, so we pivoted and changed our business plan slightly. But there is a lot of businesses out there who aren't,
yeah,
who haven't done that, and you've got to feel for them. But yeah, there is some positives as well.
yeah. I think what people need to do is look at different ways, and just get on and do it, don't they? I mean, we talk about dark kitchens and vending and all that sort of stuff. We talked about all that last week, so all the way through. So still much confusion, says Ian. Yeah, I think he's right, isn't he? I think there's lots of confusion out there. It's just how do we get that in? So Liam, just talk me through then. So what I'm interested to hear is what were your highs, what were your lows, how did you do it? How did you generate? Because take it back to Dragon's Den, you've got the thing, and obviously we go through a due diligence process and all that. Yeah. So how did you basically turn it into a multi-million-pound business? Just talk me through. Very potted.
Graft, don't give up. We knuckled down. It's no secret that the gin industry, certainly in the UK, is a congested market. But we've managed to cut through, and we're going toe to toe with some of the bigger brands that, that have got deeper pockets than ours. But first and foremost, the liquid's got to be good, and we think we've got some of the best. Well, we know we've got some of the best liquids on the market. Consumers like them. Outlets like buyers like yourself like them, and we wear our hearts on our sleeves as entrepreneurs, but then our products do the same. They're fully vegan, they're 100% real fruit, no synthetics, no flavorings, no colorings, and so the product's good. And we've got a really good small team as well, so everyone who works for the business does an amazing, I say we've got a small but a mighty team.
Yeah, I think basically, I mean, that's what you're well known for, isn't it? From Didsbury Gin, people don't know Didsbury Gin is basically, go on the website, we'll put the website up in a minute, And one thing I like about you, Liam, is basically you're a different managing director for me, yeah. Okay, you're not the sort of booted, suited, sits in his office and sort of corporate world that I came from. That basically, you're
I
totally,
spent, I spent 12 years in that world, and you could say I've took the best bits from it and got rid of the worst in how we've set up Didsbury Gin and the culture we're trying to make here.
Okay, I mean, what's for me, yeah. What makes a good manager? What sort of makes a good entrepreneur? What's the sort of get up and go? What's the sort of sort of characteristics we actually need?
You need some get up and go for a start, but I think you've got to be able to listen and empower others. My motto is find people who are better at what they do than you are, and work with them. You don't know everything, and we've certainly learned over the last 12 months to let things go and let other people take ownership of stuff. And you've got to be willing to learn. But I think Eddie, you've got to be passionate. You've got to believe in what it is you're doing. You don't entrepreneurs don't just start businesses for the sake of starting businesses. You've got to live and breathe what it is you're doing, because people buy into that. As founder-led businesses, you are almost as important as the product itself.
Yeah, okay. I know your product. People ask me, especially on Ginology, when we do this sort of virtual tastings, and sort of, what's the difference between a supermarket brand gin and a top end sort of, we know we've got entry, we know we've got standard, we know we've got superior, yeah, in the quality, but it's people ask me, Nigel, what is the difference? Yeah, I can buy a bottle of
Usually, I
gin.
know.
Yeah, yeah, you can. I mean, I'm not knocking it, but Superman's home brand, yeah, you get a bot for a tenner, can't you? You're quite right, yeah. Or you can basically go to a Marhan, a sort of Hendrix, a sort of, and buy a £40 bottle. What is the difference? And I guess that's what I'm saying to you. What is it that makes the difference? Is it the quality? Is it the product? Is it the knowledge? What is
I
it?
think it's the same as anything. It's the quality of the product, it's packaging, it's brand value. It's the added value in terms of what other additional benefits the product might have. Certainly with our product, the price point's position, not premium, not super premium, but we are, higher than a supermarket brand price point. But that's because of the quality of the product, and the care and attention what goes into making it. There's no synthetics, it's not mass produced. There's no flavorings, there's no colorings. It's 100% real fruit. So everything that you taste in our flavored gins comes from real fruit.
Yeah. That's a massive market. Isn't it? I mean, we talk about juniper and juniper berries. It's not actually a berry. It's a seed. Yeah. So basically, from a pine, people say it's flavored with juniper berries, and those people that don't know this will basically, it's actually oil. It's basically that pine. It's a bit like a bare Christmas tree. Is where it comes from. And basically, the main flavour. People ask me, "Nige, is gin the same as vodka?" No, it's not. Yeah, is gin a flavoured vodka? And technically, yes, it is, but no, it's not, because obviously,
Yeah,
it's a big technical sort of, the gin makers out there who basically the Kofis and sort of, getting all the ethanol and stuff like that. It's a massive industry, isn't it? So it's a technical know-how. It's the product. It's your quality of product. Juniper berries. It's your botanics that basically you put in. It's your water you use. It's what you bring it down to 37 and a half. ABV
yeah,
and all that. Yeah, it's a massive, massive industry, and that's for another time. So it's just, let's go back to some questions before I sort of bring some up. Let me
yeah.
just sort of, yeah. We wet only pubs have very little help. What we need to do, the government should do support them, and also the nightclubs. Yeah, Liam, do you want to take that one?
Let them trade. Let businesses trade in a safe, manner, and let's just get on with it.
Yeah, I think basically, it's they've had very little help, and you're absolutely right. I mean, some of the operators, Christmas is gone, hasn't it? Yeah, Christmas just ain't going to be there. Got bubble at six and takeaways. And most of the operators, I mean, back in the operation days, do you get beer in? Do you not get beer in? Do you get it in and pour it down the sink? New Year's Eve was almost gone, so massive consideration for the wet trade. And I think you're quite right, guy. I think basically, government should do more to support them. The nightclubs, yeah, we've had furlough, yes, we've had sort of grants and stuff like that, rate referrals, but those, let's face it, those
I think
costs got to be paid.
yeah, look up the Nighttime Industry Association as well, because they're doing a lot of lobbying. We've got a guy called Sasha Lord regionally in Greater Manchester who's
Yeah,
taking legal action on behalf of the nighttime industry. And there's a lot of suggestions on there of what the government could do. But
yeah,
I think open your ears and engage with people. That'd be a
yeah.
start.
Yeah, Sasha was saying that yesterday, that you follow the same feed as I do, Liam, at the industry, and what he was saying, that basically 90% won't make it till spring in tier three.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and that's
some of them are going
that's
to
the people we spoke to as well. So
yeah, and I guess basically in the industry, we very much, here's me, when you get a plan, you smash that plan, don't you? It comes into double figures sort of growth. Yeah, this one is it's not just a case of basically looking for attention, looking for sort of things you're going to do. This is a genuine, sort of concern, isn't it? That people are going to go bust, people are going to go out of business.
it's a massive concern. If you look at all the secondary impacts of that, the unemployment. A lot of people who work in hospitality are quite poorly paid. Well, not poorly paid, but they're on the lower end of the wage kind of spectrum, and these people are going to be plunged into severe poverty. Rents are going to ease up, and cost of living certainly not going to go down. So
Yeah,
we need to be letting hospitality trade.
people sort of ring me, Liam, and say, come and talk to me about liquidity in the business. Come and talk to me about, revival plans and strategy and all that. Yeah, and it's tough. My niece recently asked me, how come you aren't allowed to come to Yorkshire to see me from Northumberland, as we stay locally in lockdown, but Prince Charles can go abroad for a memorial service. Yeah, okay. I think that's one for Prince Charles, isn't it? I don't know Prince Charles. He's not on my feed. Yeah, I don't hold his diary. But I sort of hear what you're saying there. You know, it's just that's the way it is. Yeah, okay. My reception keeps dropping out. Going to sort out my internet next time. Yeah, Matthew, basically all the way through. So Luke, you're the sort of different sort of managing director, if you like. Yeah, okay. You're the sort of different leader. Yeah. Just talk to me about sort of the sort of people you take on. You put out a feed yesterday that no qualifications, needed. Yeah, come and talk to us. We're going to basically sort of take you on board. And lots of job seekers out there, on your attitude and sort of your cultural fit. Just talk me through that. Talk me through the process.
Well, that's just more, our personal preference. I worked in the private sector for 12 years and in a variety of roles. And, I started as an admin apprentice, pretty much from leaving school. So, I value kind of on the job training and attitude over, academia. That's just me personally. And I think, we're trying to build, we're going to be scaling Didsbury Gin massively next year. And we want the right people. And, sometimes the right people don't have degrees or they've not had the privilege of going to university, and it's, the post I put out yesterday on LinkedIn, it just gave me pleasure signing off job specs that under the qualifications section said, we're not bothered about qualifications as a company. It's about your experience and it's about your attitude and cultural fit.
Yeah, and most people would appreciate that, because quite clearly out there, certainly from the hospitality industry, I think, what's the stat the other day? We'd lost, we employ 3.2 million people in the hospitality industry, yeah? So 640,000 of them, yeah, are basically out of work, myself included, yeah, and they thought I'd be sitting here basically, saying, that I'd be looking for employment, enjoying what I'm doing, by the way, but and we're lucky the most, but some of those guys are out there, sort of chefs and the lower end scales, mid scale, and certainly top scales. I mean, we've got CEOs basically sitting there out of work, driving vans for supermarkets.
We've reached out regionally to the hospitality sector, and we've tried to create odd jobs in the office or content creation jobs,
yeah,
on social media for them and stuff, just to try and help people out. Yeah.
No, I know you do a lot for charity and stuff like that. And I want to talk to you about this because you do a great thing that basically, people won't realise this, that, some of the gin basically people, some of the gin distillers, because of ethanol, and, when we were back in sort of, gosh, the peak, if it were, you basically did lots of stuff for the NHS. Just talk me through that. Just talk me through sort of what you did.
Yeah, so within sort of 2 weeks, we produced, with our supply chain, the equivalent of 2.5 million bottles of hand sanitizer, which was a response to the NHS basically saying that they couldn't get hand sanitizer, which we just found absolutely baffling. A country like ours, and the government can't support the NHS and the supply chains to give them the tools they need to do the job. So we just switched our production facilities, made a load of hand sanitizer, gave it out to pretty much every hospital, GP surgery in Greater Manchester, and police force as well to begin with. Then care homes, there was a big thing in the news a couple of weeks later about care homes being extorted, being quoted ridiculous prices by unscrupulous companies. So we'll just donate you a load. Same with public transport, to try and get people confident on public transport in Greater Manchester. We a couple of pallets of hand sanitizer we sent there, and then little things from sending 1,000 tea bags to people who are working in food banks. Just we're quite fortunate as a business, that we're able to help out. So it was the right thing to do.
And certainly on my feed, I know we talked about a guy that basically couldn't afford his driving test. Yeah, so I sort of paid for that, and you were straight on. I mean, without any question, yeah. I think I'd sent it out 3 minutes later. Liam Manton was on, was basically saying, Nigel, if you get any more, let me know. Yeah, so all credit to you. I mean, all credit to the NHS and what you've done there. So saved lives, Liam. I mean, let's face it.
Well, they're doing a better job than we are, mate. To be fair, but we could help out, and it's the right thing to do. And hopefully people remember that. There's a lot of businesses that didn't help out during COVID. There's a lot of businesses that treated their employees, not very well as well. So,
okay. So I know we sort of push for time. Where we now, sort of, yeah. You okay for the next 5 minutes or so?
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
you're okay, yeah, because there's lots more questions coming in here. So, you know, hello guys, Manchester guest speaker, very cool guys. I agree with what Liam is saying. I'm sure Liam, you've heard
Yeah,
of
I
the
know the
Fab Cafe, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So talk us about Fab Cafe just very quickly. You've obviously heard of it. Yeah, I don't know the Fab Cafe. Yeah.
It's a bar slash cafe with some cool memorabilia and some very random things on the wall.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Random things. Yeah, what sort of random things are we talking about?
Google.
Right. Okay, all right, fair dues. Okay, it's a family show. I don't get my yellow and red card out, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so fab cards all the way through. Okay, let's just grab a few more questions. I mean, I think some of these we've answered anyway, but let's just basically go back to the questions and sort of, yeah. If we just set this up, just bear with me. Questions. There you go. So yeah, I mean, PM's announcement yesterday. I think, yeah. Is it going to affect you? Is it massively going to affect you?
Massively going to affect us. You know, our business was heavily reliant on, you know, the on trade.
Yep.
You know, that's a major source of revenue for us. If they can't trade, we can't trade. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so massive for you, yeah. Obviously, you're into retail as well, though, aren't you? So
Yeah,
it's not just
and
the
you
on
know,
trade, it's not just trading.
where we've lost in the on trade, we've gained in e-commerce and retail. But
Yeah.
you know, it's not about that. You know, with our business, you know, relies on us selling product to consumers. We've missed a big summer of sport. Yeah, it's massive. But again, it's an announcement without an announcement. You know, which seems to be a
Yeah.
recurring theme.
Yeah, and let's face it. I mean, we've got a week now to basically get. You know, I mean, I talked to some of the big owners, some of the CEOs, and they've gone from 0 to 100%. You know, so going from takeaway to opening stores and God knows what. So you know, massive. Yeah. How do you start your strategy? I think we've gone through that, haven't we? Yeah. You know, what makes a great entrepreneur? Very very quickly.
I think grit and determination, because you know it's not always easy, and you know the willingness to learn as well, because you know we're learning every day, you know, and we're quite a slick operation now, but oof, it was ramshackle for the first 12 months.
Okay, so learn about basically process and sort of supply. And,
Everything, yeah.
You know, so all the way to there. So that's cool. Here's one that came in basically. What was your greatest setback, and how did you recover from it?
I think COVID's been the biggest setback, and our response was to bring the business plan forward, and you know ramp up our e-commerce investments, ramp up our social media investments, ramp up our off-trade activity and above the line activity, and it's that's kind of how we've navigated this storm.
Okay, so yeah, nobody knew COVID. Obviously, you know, if you just said to me basically when I stood in front of my company, basically, you know, in January, and said, "Listen, guys, you know, we'd all be shut down. We'd all basically been, you know, we'd all be basically put on furlough, sat at home with your slippers." Yeah, you know, it just wouldn't happen, would it? Yeah, they'd probably threw me, you know, got rid of my mic, took my mic back off me, and basically threw me off the stage. Yeah. But that's what it is. Yeah. So, okay, future employees, what they're looking for?
Positivity.
Positivity. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So sort of a get up and go attitude, a doer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody who does something a little bit different. Yeah. You know, we always talk about this basically on job seekers. You know, it's just somebody who stands out for the crowd. Somebody who basically does a podcast, you know, somebody stupid enough to do a LinkedIn live sort of out there.
I saw something on LinkedIn or Facebook or one of the platforms the other day. It was a young person had you know got a job at a fashion brand, and she'd done her application as a CV on a T-shirt in their style. I thought that was genius.
Yeah.
You know,
Think
outside the box, and I think you know there's going to be a lot of unemployment, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity as well for people.
Yeah, it's the guy who stands outside this train station, isn't it? He basically hands out his CV and sort of, you know, we all hear those stories and videos.
You know, you don't even need to go to that extreme, but just the little things to kind of, you know, to put yourself out there.
Yeah, it's been different. Yeah, I think that's that one. Big question for you: how do we cover the industry? I mean, obviously it's all about hospitality recovery. Yeah, how do we actually recover this industry? How do we?
I think we need to, you know, leverage some respect for the sector from government first and foremost. That'd be a start. And yeah, you know, give us some concrete guidelines and a framework we can work with, and an end point, and then we can work out how we recover. But until they nail down a plan and a strategy, which this government seems to not ever want to do with anything, you know, regardless of what your party politics are, I think, we just need some leadership here and some guidance. And I think there's been some superb examples, of leadership and guidance during COVID, and there's been some absolute shambolic attempts at it as well. And unfortunately, we seem to have got the short straw.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I'm going to take you back to this. Basically, great leaders is basically what it's all about at the moment, isn't it? People that basically think some great leadership are going to win. Those people are basically sorting out their businesses. On the 24th of March, started their strategy. Yeah, they're going to basically steal the March air, aren't they? It's just you've got great strategy, great products, great managers. And those people, with a few grey hairs that quite clearly, basically brings that expertise that have been through it before. So, views on the future, sir, before we wrap up. And I know
it can only get better. It can only get better.
Yeah.
I think I think there's going to be a lot of suffering for hospitality, because of what's going on. But hopefully, when the time's right, we can all get out there and we can look back on 2020 and, just draw a line through it.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. I think we're all looking forward to it, getting back there, having a drink, aren't we? And sort of sitting in the pubs and drinking some Didsbury gin. If people want to get hold to your gin, how do they get hold of it? How do they basically,
Didsburygin.com is probably your best bet. Stockists are on there. You can buy online. You can read about the brand as well on there.
Yeah. Christmas gifting, how's that going? Obviously, into Christmas season, is that sort of?
To be fair, we launched a Christmas gift pack again, which is on the website, and that's the rate of sale, and that's been phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. So, Liam, obviously, I'm going to wrap this up now because obviously we've gone through. So, thank you for basically your input today. So,
no worries, mate.
Absolutely fantastic. And good to see you, pal. Yeah. I know we're great mates and all that, but it's good to see you. Good to sort of interview you. Sort of what's coming up on the show. Obviously, go out every Tuesday at sort of 12 o'clock. Yeah, it's obviously Hospitality Live, Hospitality Recovery Live. Future guests we've got coming on the show. We've basically got Paul Fletcher, who's basically a stadiologist. Paul's going to talk to us about sort of contract catering and all that sort of stuff, basically on the show. So, obviously listen to the podcast. It goes out on Podcast Live. Liam Manton, sir, Mr. Manton, thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Hopefully I can see you for a pint.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, pal.
Cheers.